checking the stock market, it is always a button click away. I just go like that, and there are a lot of the stocks that I personally hold.
10 years ago, I had never used a computer in my life.
All I have to do is hit refresh, and I get a list updating of all my portfolio. So I check that at least 5 to 10 times a day.
What has happened to me in the last 3 years is what people aspire to have happen to them in a lifetime.
It can be compared to a revolution in a sense. It's coming from the bottom up. It's not, hey, it's the old boys club going around and having another swing at bat and making money the old-fashioned way. It's deeply empowering. It's immigrants like Sabir Bhatia. Moments after he gets his green card, starts a business. 2 years later, is over $100 million.
I just had an idea, a wild dream, was passionate about this concept, and I knew that I wanted to make this company succeed. I was looking for funding, and 20 people turned me down.
Bucks is the center of schmoozing culture in Silicon Valley. Without a doubt, I eat more meals at Bucks than I do at home, and I only come here for breakfast. How fast have you taken it to so far?
I've taken it as fast as 170 miles an hour.
Are you serious? Holy smokes, I've never gone past 140 myself.
It is very true that this sort of success is possible. First, only in America. 2, only in Silicon Valley. And 3, in this short time span, only on the internet.
When we have breakfast with an entrepreneur, we always pick up the tab. And we actually really start to get worried if the entrepreneur insists. Because any good entrepreneur is not going to take the tab. They're going to try to foist it on someone else because they have that culture of frugality. They're trying to save every penny.
Had it been the money, I would have retired today.
Get you an invite. I'll see you there.
So
10 years ago, Sabir Bhatia came to the United States with $250. While working at Apple Computer on his lunch break, he would put a suit on in his car and pitch Hotmail, or free email, to potential partners. When no one else would listen, Steve Jurvetson invested $300,000 for 15% of Bhatia's vision.
I remember the day when I first heard that the Hotmail deal went through, that Microsoft had paid $400 million for Hotmail. Today, that's worth $1.2 billion. I had a sense, that being one of the first big payoffs that I had witnessed, that this was going to forever change our business.
Hotmail clearly required me to put on a suit, go and speak at different events. Public relations was the way we grew. So it seemed inevitable that I've become like a sort of a mini media hero.
So when you come back to India, what is it like?
It's actually, people in India, those who know me, obviously, have realized that I've done something which is tremendously revolutionary. But most of the others, the younger generation, look at me as like the Bill Gates of India.
Had you asked me 3 years ago, what will you do at 30 if you made a lot of money? I would have told you I would retire, go to an island, go live in the mountains. And yet, I'm not doing all of those things, even though I can afford to do all of them. It's because I have realized that what excites me and what drives me is challenge, to change the world yet again, to have a meaningful impact on people's lives.
The people I know that have come upon sudden wealth, hundreds of millions or billions of dollars, there's some of them who have those few tokens of wealth that they've always wanted. But more importantly, that still is not what they're striving for. Maybe they're trying to prove something to somebody. Like Sabir, maybe he wants to prove to all the people he left behind in India that his voyage to America was worth it, that he can do something great.
I saw tremendous opportunity. As an outsider, I think I saw things that some of the people take for granted over here.
This is really cool.
After being bought out by Microsoft in 1998, Bhatia had an ironclad contract for life. But he missed the excitement of the game, so he walked away to start up another risky venture.
Well, this new venture is funded completely by me, at least in the initial phases. If it fails, I will have the joy of at least having tried. This company could be valued more than some of the media companies that we have today, such as NBC, or Disney is rather big. I don't think we would be valued as much as Disney, because Disney is worth at least $100 billion. But in 5 years' time, it is very conceivable that we could be bigger than Disney.
This is the living room. This is my favorite part. To me, the apartment represents I think the first real home that I have bought. All this is rented. To me, it represents, obviously, success. I don't even know where all the stuff is over here. Gotta look for everything. All right, here are the paper towels. There's one point over here. If you stand here and you look into the mirror, you can see all the landmarks. You can see the Transamerica Pyramid, the Golden Gate Bridge, the Bay Bridge, Coit Tower, all because of the mirror effect over here.
I am a big star given my past success. But now that that is behind me, I once again have to start off from being a little guy. Right, yeah.
While it's hard to outdo his creation of a media company with the fastest growing subscriber base in history, Bhatia will not rest on his past laurels. As one of the most successful stories in modern-day Silicon Valley, this visionary has a master plan for the future of the World Wide Web.
I often find when I look into things that are deep, that have a lot of depth, like this, I start thinking of a lot of things, and it helps me kind of, be motivated.
Graham is sort of like an alien, I mean, he has this higher vision, and he brings it down and breaks it down for us little guys.
I'm not necessarily convinced that aliens are out there, but I do think that, I think that there's a possibility. I love the X-Files, so I have all those tapes. Let's see, I love Hong Kong movies, so I've got a bunch of Hong Kong movies down there. I love conspiracy books, so I have Above Top Secret, the 60 Greatest Conspiracies of All Time. These are my nerd books over here. Perspectives on nonlinear dynamics and mathematical physics and things like that. In the Valley, there's just a culture where people who do technical things end up gaining some sort of recognition. I'm not a schmoozer, I've always been kind of a nerd, doing a lot of reading, doing a lot of academic pursuits. Most people who are savvy about the Valley, to some extent, they almost don't trust you if you're a technology person and you're wearing a suit and tie. I mean, there's kind of an expectation that serious tech people, wear jeans and a T-shirt. Joe Kraus, one of the other founders of Excite, bought a Ferrari a few months ago, but he doesn't have a house. He lives in an apartment, so he's been keeping it in my garage. He promised it would only be here for a couple weeks, but it's been about 6 months now. I knew that was going to happen.
Socially awkward, Graham Spencer is living proof of the triumph of the nerds.
I'm going to go to the regular cafeteria.
Spencer is a minister's son, and with 5 classmates from Stanford, he started an internet search engine in a garage. They named it Excite.
I think anybody who has made this much money probably feels twinges of guilt. The inevitable question is why were you successful and why were other people not successful? There are a lot of people in the Valley who are smarter than me who don't have nearly as much the success that I do. And there are a lot of people in the Valley who are way more successful than I do and may not be as smart. So all those things make you wonder, why me? Why was I so lucky?
So one of the greatest things about being engaged to a nerd is that you have all this technology at your fingertips. And so one of the things is that Graham has a digital camera, and we keep our photo album on the web. It was a little uncomfortable going out with someone who could do so much more for me financially than I could do for them.
It's so new that it's still not something that I fully comprehend or fully have internalized. I mean, there will still be times when I'll worry about whether or not to buy a book in hardcover because it's so much more expensive and maybe I should just wait a couple months until it's out in paperback. And I catch myself thinking that and I think, well, no, I can afford it. It's not a problem.
He is definitely not the slick Silicon Valley guy. He drives a Toyota 4Runner. He lives in a normal house. He likes to have a fast computer.
Of course, he's one of my heroes, You've got John, and you've got Yoko, and you've got Graham Spencer right there.
It's like you're in the middle of a tornado where everything's going up, and someone's asking, well, what happens, what happens on the ground? It's like, well, I'm in this tornado. I can't worry about the ground. I got to look up and dodge bullets and make the most of this.